According to UDisc, a very popular golf scoring app, disc golf is one of the fastest growing sports, with 50 million rounds played in 2020. Now, here are two other facts about the sport of disc golf. 50% of courses are located in public parks, with 91% of all courses in the world being free to play. Now, I've played disc golf for just under 5 years now, so I know quite a bit about the sport, but I've also dived in and done a little more research to understand some more, to talk about it, which today I will be informing you about the sport of disc golf. First, I will talk about some of the key points of disc golf, which those would be, I will talk about the different discs. Then I will talk about what the numbers on the disc mean. And then after that, I will finish up with the three main types of throws that are used in disc golf. Now, to understand disc golf, you need to first understand the different types of disc. Now, the first disc that I have is the distance driver. And you will see that it is very thin and has a huge rim, like a big rim on it. Now, these are the discs that will fly the furthest, has the potential to fly the furthest if you throw it properly. Distance drivers require a lot of arm speed and power behind them. Think of these as your tee shot, like your driver in golf. Use this off the tee with power and you'll get there. But like I said, it requires a lot of power and arm strength. Next up, you have the fairway driver. And fairway driver is not as thin, it's a little thicker with a little smaller rim on it. And these are easier to control because they don't require as much power or speed to throw, but they also don't go as far as the distance driver even if you throw it perfectly. But I would highly recommend, if you are new, to try the fairway driver instead of trying to go to the distance driver because, like I said, they require less speed and power behind it. Now, next up after that, you have the mid-ranges. And with mid-ranges, they have even smaller rims and a little deeper inside, and they're bulkier, they're thicker, but they fit really nice in your hand. Now, these are used for any shot. You can throw off the tee with this, you can throw straight, you can do a 200-foot shot with this. These are designed for accuracy and control. These are your breadwinners in your bag. With these, though, you want to think of these as your irons in golf. So we just talked about the drivers of golf. These are your irons. Like golf has irons, these are your irons in disc golf. And after that, you have your putters. Now, these are the deepest with the smallest rims. If you see how deep that is right there, like almost my whole knuckle can fit in. Now, these are used for putting and up shots. Just like golf has putters, disc golf has a putter, and that's what this is. These will go the least amount of distance. No matter how hard you throw this or how fast you throw this, they only have so much that they can travel. Now, I talked about 4 different discs, and you saw that they are so drastically different, but not every putter is different. Not every mid-range is the same. Not every fairway driver is the same. And since they're so drastic, they had to come up with a numbering system to tell you kind of how they worked. And with the numbering system now, they're typically stamped on every disc. And there's 4 numbers of them. And with the 4 numbers on there, they're the guidelines for the flight. They're called the flight numbers. They kind of give you a guideline of how the disc is supposed to fly, if thrown properly. Now, for the first one, the first number you have is speed. And speed is rated anywhere from 1 to 14. And with that, kind of a breakdown of that is I looked up on dynamicdisc.com, and according to them, speed is putters are between 2 to 3, mid-ranges are between 4 to 6, fairway drivers are 7 and 9, and distance drivers are 10 and higher speed. And what speed describes is the distance potential. So, and the rim width. The higher the number, the bigger the rim that it's going to have. But with the higher the speed, if not thrown properly, it will lose distance. It won't go. So that's why I say mid-ranges and fairway drivers are easier to throw than distance drivers. The higher the number, the higher the speed, the higher the potential that it will go, but the more powerful of an arm and speed that you need to throw. Second, the number is glide. And glide is rated from 1 to 7. And this number means the ability to maintain loft, to stay in the air. How much glide it has, how much it wants to stay afloat. Now, the higher the number equals more flight, the more it wants to maintain staying up there. The lower the number, the more the disc wants to fight to get to the ground. After that, then you have the third number, and the third number is the turn. Now, the turn is rated from +1 to -5. And what this number represents is how much it wants to move to the right immediately out of your hand. So whenever you throw, how much it wants to go to the right. And that's part of the flight. So -5, the third number being -5, it means it wants to move to the right a lot. If it's a -3, a little less. 0, it's going to try to fly straight. And then the +1 or 0 is no movement or even a little to the left. Now that's if you're a righty. If you're a lefty, it's going to go the opposite way. Now the third number, or the fourth number, is fade. And fade is rated 0 to 5. Now, fade represents how much the disc wants to fade or crash left at the end of the flight. When it's losing its speed and rotation, it's going to fade out, and that's why it's called fade. Now the higher the number, the more it wants to fade. The less number, the more it will kind of stay straight or slightly fade out. So I've gone over the numbers. Let's talk about the throws. Now, according to James on discgolfmentor.com, the most common throw is the backhand. So imagine yourself throwing a frisbee. You're throwing it with your backhand. Your back's showing, and that's your backhand. Now, in disc golf, there's more than that. You reach back, you pull through, and stay level and release. If you want more power, you're going to do an X step or a run-up. What that is you step forward, kind of cross-hop backwards, pull, and go through, keeping that level. That's your backhand. Next up's your forehand flick. With your forehand flick, you stand sideways, and you kind of hold it like this. You pull back, and you flick forward, and you just step forward and flick. That's the flick. Now, the third type of throw is the overhand, and with the overhand, it's just like baseball. You're gonna throw it like a baseball, throw up, but release higher to get more distance. And depending on how you want your disc to fly, is you can flip it with the thumb on the inside or your fingers on the inside, and that's your throw for that. And now that I've gone over the types of throws, that's the end of that. And so I've just pretty much told you the basics of disc golf. If you want to know more, you got to go more into it. I've talked about what the different discs are used in disc golf, what the numbers on the disc mean, and the different types of throws. So next time you're in a park and you're seeing people throwing disc, disc golf is being played. So I hope you have enjoyed learning about disc golf, and thank you for your time.